I could get Representative Nuovo to come forward, please.
Ready. You're wanted at the front of the room.
So we're gathered here today to recognize a great public servant of Addison County and especially of Middlebury. 40 plus years. I was adding all the different things and I couldn't do it all in my head. With that said, the Select Board, in recognition of Betty's tremendous service to our community, had a resolution recognizing her service. And I'd like to read that to you at this point. Town of Middlebury Resolution recognizing the service of Betty A. Nuovo. Whereas we, the Select Board of the Town of Middlebury, take this opportunity to recognize the longtime service of Betty A. Nuovo as our state representative since 1981, and whereas Betty Nuovo also served the Town of Middlebury on the Middlebury Planning Commission from 1974 to 1980, on the Middlebury Select Board from 1995 to 1998, the Middlebury Charter Committee, and as Middlebury's representative on the Addison County Regional Planning Commission from 1975 to 1978. And whereas Betty Nuovo also was an active member on local boards and committees, serving on the League of Women Voters, the Addison County Chamber of Commerce, the Addison County Economic Development Corporation, Middlebury Natural Foods Co-op Board of Directors, and the Addison County Garden Club.
All that?
It's a wonder you ever had time to raise a family, Betty.
But I did.
You did well. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Middlebury celebrates the achievements of Betty Nuovo and thank her for her extraordinary dedication and outstanding service to the Town of Middlebury, the Addison County community, and the state of Vermont. Dated at Middlebury, Vermont, this 24th day of May 2016, signed by all of the Middlebury Select Board. And thank you very much for your service. So before we give Betty a chance to speak, I think there's some others that would like to recognize her, and I think it's only important that the best speech come last, and that would be us hearing from you, your words of wisdom, and what to send us off with. So I would invite Chris to come to the podium, please.
So I am here to speak. Senator Ayer is not in town, and I'm happy to be sharing both her words and my own. So this is what Senator Claire Ayer sent along. I got to know Betty during my first campaign for the Senate 14 years ago. The stages of our relationship progressed with blurring and memorable speed, from Betty as cheerleader, then supporter, then Betty as taskmaster who didn't take no for an answer. Since that election, I've continued to admire Betty's genuine caring and warmth, her scrupulous attention, scrupulous preparation and study, and her nerve to say exactly what she means when the rest of us whippersnappers are too cowardly. Betty, you are the real deal. Thank you for being my mentor and friend. Go forth and have fun. With respect and affection, Claire. So I won't add. I can't add much more to that. But I can't remember when I got to appreciate Betty was when Bill O'Reilly was in the legislature one day to sort of ambush a legislator on an issue, and it wasn't a very pleasant way to interview anyone. And Betty gave Bill O'Reilly a piece of her mind, and I think he ran out of the Vermont stage.
So before I turn the floor over to Betty, is there anyone else who would care to speak? Would like to provide that opportunity.
I don't actually have any prepared words, but I do think it's important to recognize Betty as leader and mentor to many of us in the State House. And I want to thank her for adopting me over the last biennium and showing me the way and sharing with me her pearls of wisdom and the direct style that was already recognized. And also just the little tips and tricks. I'm so grateful to have had my first biennium in the State House alongside of Betty. And I know you're going to find lots of things to occupy your time, but you'll be very much missed in the State House. And your expertise on the Judiciary Committee, I'm sure, they're already plotting and scheming how to fill the gap. But thank you, Betty, for your friendship.
Former Representative Paul Ralston, please.
Eddie. So Betty and I am no longer serving in the State House, as you know, and like Amy said, my relationship with Betty is more friend than colleague, and also with her husband Victor, good friends. And like Amy said, we are fortunate. There's a number of us here, Steve as well, where we got to have our first experience in the State House with Betty, and with Betty's tutelage, and with Betty's care and attention that we didn't screw up too bad. And when you're new, you do. You make mistakes, and things happen. And I used to get into a lot of trouble, and whenever those occasions would happen, and they were always in these private caucuses where the majority would get together, and Betty would say, when you're done, he gets to defend himself. And Betty would stand up for me, and I would get to defend myself. One of the things I remember most when I was first elected, and Betty went to Montpelier early. She went on Mondays, so she was there fresh and ready to go Tuesday. And we drove together a lot. And Betty used to have a car. It was a blue Ford. And it had this feature that when you reached a certain speed, I think it was 80, an alarm would go off. And we were driving, I was white knuckle driving down the road. This thing goes. And right, Betty? And
Well, I was passing a car, and as I passed it, the other car kept going faster. And there was one right behind me, like this. I couldn't stop.
and the alarm went off. Anyway, it was great to serve with you, Betty. It was really wonderful, and I look forward to our dinners continuing on an ongoing basis.
Is there anyone else who would care to speak? So, Betty, I yield the floor to you.
Oh, well, I just want to thank Kathleen Ramsey and the Select Board and yourself and everybody that helped put on this wonderful thing. It's really strikes me. I like working in the legislature. I like working for this town and the state. There were many issues that we did, and when you have a law, you have to read a lot, you have to research a lot, and you have to listen to people. It's not just you put out a bill and everybody votes on it, which many people think. We work hard, sometimes for a month on one bill. And then we have legislative council, which are attorneys, help us write it so that all of it fits. And then I revised it. Sometimes they didn't make the right statement, right, Steve? And we did so many things in the 80s and the rest of the years with women's rights and for business, for employees, for the environment, for education, and a whole lot more. But we did all these things, and I enjoyed all of it. And then I come home and we talk to friends and knock on doors. People can't believe it, but I liked knocking on doors. You know, you meet everybody, you meet the whole town, places I didn't know existed at first. You know, way off here, Marilyn, you'd drive me around and say, I didn't know this was here. So it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I was glad to work for all the people. Thank you very much for having me. mistakes people from the offices made them. So,
Yes, please help yourselves and feel free to stay and socialize. It's probably nicer outside than it is inside right now. And we've got this beautiful seating and congregation area out here, so maybe it's a nice spot to move out to and enjoy our new seating and check out our now nicely landscaped grounds. So, thank you very much for coming.
thank you. Thank you for coming.
Very nice.